Okay, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something really interesting that's been popping up online about Ishan Sharma.
Yeah.
Ishan Sharma, that 23-year-old entrepreneur, content creator.
Right, right.
You know, huge YouTube following.
Of course, yeah.
You've probably seen the numbers, like
Yeah.
1.63 million subscribers on YouTube. And then there was all that buzz about how much he's earning from his
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, like 35 lakhs a month or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, something around that.
Yeah,
So that was kind of a big deal.
yeah.
But what's really caught our eye, what we want to kind of dig into with you guys today,
Mm-hmm.
are some of these posts we've been seeing, you know, like on X,
Right?
that started appearing in like mid-March 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, remember those threads? Like,
Yeah.
I think one was called Exposing Saheli Chatterjee and Ishan Sharma's Fake Freelance Tutorials.
Right, yeah.
And another one, Saheli Chatterjee and Ishan Sharma Controversy Final Part.
Yeah, so it seems like there's something more going on here
Yeah.
than just the success that we see on the surface.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And so our goal today isn't to tell you who's right or wrong.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
our goal is to help you understand what's actually being said
Yeah.
in these conversations online. You know, like,
Yeah.
what are the main criticisms? What are people saying? And what's the bigger picture that we need to consider?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the heart of it.
Okay, so if we look at the core of these discussions,
Mm-hmm.
the central criticism seems to be
Yeah.
aimed at Ishan Sharma,
Mm-hmm.
often mentioned alongside Saheli Chatterjee
Yeah, right.
for, allegedly promoting freelancing tutorials
Yeah,
that some users are calling misleading.
right.
And it's not just a few random comments here and there.
No, it's quite a bit. It's quite a lot, actually.
It seems like there's a bit of a pattern here.
Yeah, and what's interesting is it's not just vague complaints either, you know? Like,
Right.
they're really pointing to specific things.
Yeah.
And these expos that we were talking about, they highlight
Yeah.
a couple of key areas where people are like, hold on a second,
Mm.
you know? And some people feel like the advice is just way overhyped.
Yeah, like promising these amazing results,
Yeah.
but not really giving people practical strategies,
Exactly.
that they can actually use in the real world.
Like, how do you actually do this?
Right. Exactly.
Like, if you're just starting out freelancing,
Exactly.
where do you even begin?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and there's this other question that keeps coming up
Yeah.
about the originality of the content.
Oh, interesting.
Are these really fresh perspectives, unique methods,
Mm-hmm.
or is it something else?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
I mean, it really raises this big question for anyone
Mm.
who's consuming this kind of content online, right?
Right.
How do you even know, like,
Exactly.
if this is really brand new advice
Ah.
or if it's just stuff that's been repackaged?
Right, and presented in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one specific example from these X discussions that really, really stood out to me.
Okay, what was that?
So one user was pointing out all these times when Ishan Sharma was, you know, posting photos from the U.S.,
Oh, okay.
and they were suggesting that this was like a calculated move to create FOMO,
Yeah.
you know, that fear of missing out, like
Yeah.
right before he's about to pitch a service or a course to his audience.
Right. Right.
You know?
Like, look at me, I'm living the dream.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can too if you follow my advice.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating about this, right?
Mhm.
Because is this just savvy marketing?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, are they just using aspirational imagery?
Right, to get people excited,
Yeah.
or does it actually cross the line? You
Right.
know?
Is it misrepresenting what's actually being offered?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. It really makes you think about the strategies
Mm-hmm.
that creators are using to get attention.
Right. Because it's definitely working.
Yeah, I mean, it's effective.
Sure. And I think it's important to keep in mind the whole context around Ishan Sharma,
Yeah.
right? Like, he's built this image, this
Mhm.
persona
Mm-hmm.
of a young, self-made entrepreneur.
Right.
Famously, you know, left Bits Pilani,
Right.
founded this marketing agency called Market Up,
Yeah.
and he's got this massive YouTube following.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of profile, it's going to attract both admiration
Yeah.
and, like we're seeing here, quite a bit of scrutiny.
Right. Right.
So if we try to connect all of this to the bigger picture,
Okay.
these online exposures, as they're being called,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they're based on,
Right.
you know, rock solid, verifiable evidence
No.
of things like, you know, financial fraud or plagiarism, at least from what we were seeing,
Right.
you know, in mid-March 2025. It feels more like it's a community response where people are kind of questioning
Right.
the substance and authenticity of the advice,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like this, it's less of a formal exposure
Right.
and more like a public backlash that's playing out online,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people are just sharing their opinions,
Mhm.
sharing their experiences,
Yeah.
and questioning the value and the genuineness of the guidance.
Yeah, and this is a key point
Yeah,
because when you look at the source material,
yeah,
what's missing are specific, verifiable details
right.
to back up these claims.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we don't see concrete examples
Mhm.
of falsehoods that are supported by data.
Right, right.
So without that kind of evidence,
Yeah,
it's really hard to draw any definite conclusions
right, exactly.
beyond what people are saying online.
Yeah.
Right.
So for all of you listening, the key takeaway here is that back in mid-March 2025,
Right.
there were definitely these big discussions happening on X where people were raising some serious questions
Yeah.
about this freelancing advice being given by Ishan Sharma and Saheli Chatterjee.
Right.
And a lot of the concern was around how practical it was and how original it was.
Yeah.
But it's super important to understand that
Right.
even though these criticisms
Yeah.
were generating a lot of buzz online, at this point at least, they don't amount to
Right.
like a formally proven scandal or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not a formal investigation.
Right. It's more like...
It's more of a public debate,
Yeah.
a wave of opinions that are being shared
Right, right.
in the online community.
Yeah, so this brings us to a final thought
Okay.
for all of you to kind of ponder, in this whole world of online entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
personal growth content.
Right.
Where do you draw the line between aspirational marketing
Right.
and potentially misleading guidance?
Right. Right.
What responsibility do these creators actually have
Yeah.
when they're presenting this information? And how can you,
Yeah.
as someone who's consuming this content,
Mm-hmm.
how can you develop your critical thinking skills
Right.
to really evaluate what you're seeing online?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because there's a lot out there.
There's a lot out
You
there.
really have to be careful.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you really do.
You can't believe everything you see,
Absolutely.
especially online.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's something for all of you to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time.
Yeah. See you then.